everyone. This is RAND, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Wednesday, April 17, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a time for change call tonight at around 9 or so Eastern. Consciousness equals energy, love, awareness, light, wisdom, beauty, truth, purity. It's all the same trip. Any trip you want to take leads to the same place. Consciousness. Incorporates everything. Is everything. We are the God, we are the heaven, we are the kingdom of heaven. We are the pure consciousness. We are unbearable compassion. The heart is where we're all striving to be eternally. It is only when we reside quietly in our own that we become He of total light, unbearable compassion, infinite power. If we get far enough in, we can see karma. We can see patterns unfolding, of which this life is only a part of a mosaic, a part of a part of mosaic. But in order to do that, we have to have left the gravitational field of time and space as a matrix. We can't think in time and space. We can't be in our thoughts anymore, because our thoughts are still in time and space. And we can't get out of time through them. We've got to be outside that. We've got to be in the place where you see your own. Competition, birth, childhood, adolescence, maturity, age, death. And on and on and on. It is a circle, complete circle. I am without form, without limit. Beyond space, beyond time, I am in everything, and everything is in me. I am the bliss of the universe. Everything am I. Ram Tirtha. See, we're in these bodies, and we get so close of the matrix and looking at these bodies, and we become so attached to these bodies that we lose sight of the fact that we are not these bodies. We literally believe that we are the body. We believe we're the name, the personality, the character, what we do, how we do it. We're not. We're actually the God within the body, which is tapped into eternally, pure cosmic consciousness, which is everything and nothing. which is all the galaxies, all the universes, all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. It is always that way. So what does that mean for us? With our journey, we are on a direction that we choose to be, and we discover. We finally figure out that we're not the body, and then we start to dive deeper within to discover just exactly what are we. And this is when we become enfold with the heart, mind, and our pure consciousness, the God, the source, the creator, which we are. And once we understand that, we don't participate, so to speak, in pure physical material. You know, we drive our body like you would a car. You tend to it and maintain it, and you want to make sure it's running well. Carry you around so you can experience physical material world. But you're not really in it. You're watching everything. You're seeing everything. You're behind the eyes in that body, watching over everything. You don't know it, but you can plug into, you don't know it yet, but you can plug into that vast pure consciousness, the God. And the base of information there is infinity. You then begin to discover that by leaning back into the body in relaxation, letting go, and see, here's the ego mind trick for everybody. When you say you're going to let go, right? Ego mind gets really insecure about that. Because the ego mind believes when you say you're going to let go, you're going to just you won't have anything. Okay, it's material possession, ego mind. And when we do let go, genuinely, deep within, through the heart-mind, it's when everything comes to us. When we stop worrying, fretting, and fearing over things that we all do, different things, little things, average things, big things, when we let go of all of that, and we let go of it and we practice on a regular basis, day to day, miraculous things begin to occur. And you might focus on something, right? With complete confidence, faith, and trust in yourself and the universe. So you focus on it, and you know, see, deep within you, you know that your attention has been put to it, your request has been sent, and it will manifest. That's it, period. You aren't concerned about when, where, or how, might, can. You just know it'll manifest. And so you keep moving forward. So we're literally moving the body around as gods to experience all this. Well, who creates it? Who creates all the things we experience? We do. Who creates life and death? We do. This is something that, how many of us on this planet know this, embrace it? We're all pulled. There's something that pulls us towards this journey. Way, way back, deep inside, is a memory. There is something inside each of us that comes from behind that veil, behind the place of our own birth. It's as if we have tasted of something somewhere in our past that's been so high, so much light, so much energy, that nothing you can experience through any of your senses or your thoughts. So much light and so much energy can be enough. Somewhere inside, everybody knows that there is a place which is totally fulfilling. Not a desperate flick of fulfillment, it is. State of fulfillment. You may experience despair that you'll ever know that. And that's a good thing. Because through the despair and through that surrender, you get closer to it. And then surrender comes. You're letting go. What would happen to us all if we decided to surrender and let go? Let go of this life, surrender everything, just let it all go. Magical, magna glorious, stupendous, marvelous, and spectacular things will move into place. And what keeps us from that place? And that place, it gives us that total feeling and experience and knowing of fulfillment, is all of this posturing, all of our thoughts, all our way of organizing our world, all our plans, all our games, our exploring. Some of us do go on this journey. We didn't stand up and say we volunteer. It didn't work that way at all. It's not like you had a choice of volunteering or not volunteering. That isn't the way it works. It's as if you're propelled into it, like the moth into the flame. But yet, nobody's pushing you. Nobody's standing around saying, get in, get in, get in. Take every third man, he goes. Doesn't work that way either. It's a little more like the image of a caterpillar enclosing itself in a cocoon in order to go through the metamorphosis to emerge as a butterfly. The caterpillar doesn't say, well, now I'm going to climb into this cocoon and come out a butterfly. It's just an inevitable process. It's inevitable. It's just happening. It's got to happen that way. We're talking about a metamorphosis. We're talking about going from a caterpillar to a butterfly. We're talking about how to become a butterfly. The caterpillar isn't walking around saying, man, I'll soon be a butterfly. Because as long as he's busy being a caterpillar, he can't be a butterfly. It's only when caterpillarness is done, that one starts to be a butterfly. And that, again, is part of this paradox. You cannot rip away caterpillarness. The whole trip occurs in an unfolding process under which you have no control. That's a hard one. Well, what am I doing here if I have no control? That's what people say. So if I have no control, what am I doing here? You mean I don't have any choice? Can't I say this is nonsense? Can't I say this is important? You think that's choice? No, not at all. It's an unfolding process. If you could stand back, any of us can stand back far enough and watch the whole process, we would see that you are a totally determined being. The very moment you will wake up is totally determined how long you will sleep. is totally determined what you will hear of. There are no accidents in this business at all. Accidents are just from where you're looking, to the ego. It looks like it's miracles and accidents. No miracles, no accidents. It's just your vantage point that you're sort of stuck in. This whole trip that I'm talking about is fraught with paradox. The most exquisite paradox, as soon as you give it all up, you can have it all. See? What do we usually do? We grab and clench and hold tighter and tighter and tighter. As soon as you give it all up, you can have it all. How about that one? As long as you want power, you can't have it. The minute you don't want power, you will have more than you ever dreamed possible. See how we've been trained? You see how the program has been incessantly embedded in the civilizations of this planet throughout the ages? It's the opposite. It's all the opposite. What a weird thing, isn't it? As long as any of us, which we all do right now, have an ego, we're on a limited trip. We're on a trivial trip that's going to last maybe what? Say 60, 70, maybe 80 years? And full with fear of its end, trying to make its own eternity. Well, if I'm not speaking, if I am not what I thought I was, how did I get into this who I am I? So all of us, for only when I know who I am, will I know what is possible. How many of us know what we are? And don't say human being. That's the experience. Understanding the possibility. There's three ways in which one knows what we're talking about. One way in which you know about it is through direct experience. Through some way or another, through being alone in the desert, through falling in love, through bearing a child, through nearly dying, through turning on, through yoga, through taking any one of your senses and pushing it beyond itself. Going through it, you have touched a place inside yourself that has an intuitive validity. It's intuitively valid inside you. Know it's right. Now, I've been with some people who have had such an experience, which was powerful and valid, but it was so discontinuous with their normal consciousness that they screamed for help. That help was available to them. It was a group of minds which said, "That's all right. You've just gone crazy. That is, the experience you've just had is the experience of psychosis. William James said, "Our normal walking consciousness is but one special type of consciousness. Whilst all about it, parted from it by the filmiest of screens, potential forms of consciousness, entirely different. We may go through this life without suspecting the existence, but apply the requisite stimulus at a touch. They are there in all their completeness. Definite types of mentality, which probably somewhere have their field of application and adaptation. No account of this universe and its totality can be final, which leaves these other forms of consciousness quite discarded. How to recard them is the question, for they are so discontinuous with ordinary consciousness. They may determine attitudes, though they cannot furnish formulas, and open a region, though they fail to give a map. At any rate," concludes James, "they forbid our premature closing of accounts with reality." In spite of what he said, we've closed our accounts with reality. Most of us. Most of us. That experience you had is psychotic. Right? I'll give you Thorazine. It's not valid. You're hallucinating. What do you mean you're God? You know, there's some people, you know, and it's not head. It is not the head. It's the heart-mind. But see, so many people are operating from the head. So, they think you're Willie, you know, cuckoo. The understanding of the possibility may have come to you directly through the experience itself, or it may have come to you through inference through your intellect. You may have reasoned until you saw the peculiar position that rational man is in. You realize that there must be something else, although you have not experienced it. You just infer the presence of something else. It doesn't quite make sense. Nothing turns you on. You haven't experienced it directly, but you figured there must be something else, something there. And then you read all the writings of all these writings of St. John of the Cross, St. Teresa, Avila, on and on and on, all the mystics and visionaries in recorded history. And you say, well, they can't all be nuts. They must be talking about something. So you sort of infer the presence of this other thing, but you don't know it in your guts. Now that's a tough one to be in that position, isn't it? And how many of us are in that position? The majority. And the third way is you trust the fact that there are realized beings, and they said it, and therefore you know it to be true. It's not inference anymore. It's not an intellectual process. You just accept what they have said. That's faith. See, we've gotten so super sophisticated in our evaluative mechanisms that we question everything we hear. How do you know you're not being hustled? I mean, what was Jesus up to? What's the game, man? What's he into? And you especially feel paranoid if you're one of the keepers of the tables in the temple. If you are committed to an existing system with great attachment, some way or other, most of you on this call, not all of you, most of you, have sensed the possibility, but you can't quite figure it out. Not yet. The word surrender. We've heard that a lot. What are we giving up? A hollow little trip that's good for another 40 years at best? Are we giving it up for eternal union, pure energy, pure light? Because surrender means you, it's as simple as that, no longer die. You no longer die. Surrender means you no longer die. That's what it means, because you that lives and dies is you, ego, and fear of death only comes through the brittleness of the ego. They surrender, there's no more you, no more life, and death. That's the body. That's not you. It never has been and never will be. Yeah, I'm going to die. Wow. Dig that. I'm going to live. Wow. Dig that. Garbage. Wow. New blossoms on the tree. Wow. Patterns of energy. All patterns of energy. And you know what? All of us are part of it all. That's the place. How deeply that we have been programmed. Now, I'm not just talking about the body. Think about, you don't have to have that urge, that desire, that unfulfilled thing. You just let it be. Just be more and more. Now you ask yourself the question, what's holding you back? Your thoughts? You've got to give them up. Just ego planning. What are you doing? Planning for the future? Well, it's all right now. But later. That's later. Now is now. Are you going to be here or not? It's as simple as that. We have been in a mire for thousands and thousands of years. But I'm so young. I have so many things to do yet. Well, that'll sure keep you from being here and now, won't it? Life is passing me by. But if I live just in the here and now, won't there be chaos? What happens if the telephone rings? Well, the here and now is the fact that the telephone is ringing. Pick it up. Well, what if someone wants to make an appointment to see me 3 weeks from now? Hey, write it down. That's here and now. Well, what happens 3 weeks from now? 3 weeks from now, there's that appointment, then that is here and now. When your child comes down the stairs, this is the first moment, all over again. This is like Buddha meeting Buddha. Over toast, or milk, over tea, coffee, porridge, brown rice. We never had breakfast before. This is it. This is all there is right now. If it's not good enough, then it's not good enough. So you kind of begin to understand, hopefully, that our direction has constantly been in the opposite direction of who and what we are. Our direction has been material, physical, and separation for eternity. Every time we enter a body, we are in an opposite direction of the gods that we are. You finally understand the message you communicate with another human being has nothing to do with what you say. It has nothing to do with the look on the musculature of your face. It's much deeper than that, much deeper. It's the vibrations that emanate from you. It's not so much what you're saying, okay? It's the vibrations and frequency of what you're saying, how you're emanating out from you. If your vibrations are paranoid, that's what's being received by others. And when you're around pets, birds, cats particularly, or very young children, or very flipped out psychotics, they will know you immediately. You can come and say, "Hello, dear. How are you?" And the dog will growl. You ever done that? That's just one example. You can't come on because they're listening to the vibrations that hand is reaching out and sending. And you realize that every moment you are a full statement of your being. And you're sending out vibrations that are affecting everything around you, which in turn is affecting everything that comes back. And when you meet somebody who is caught in the world of we and them, and you are him to that person and you get caught in his mind net, you are both just intensifying one another's paranoia. It's like hippies create police and police create hippies. If you're in polar, you're creating opposites. You can only protest effectively. You love the person whose ideas you are as much as you love yourself. Protesting against. Love has to spring spontaneously from within, and it is in no way amenable to any form of inner or outer force. Love and coercion can never go together. But though love cannot be forced on anyone, it can be awakened in him through love itself. Love is essentially self-communicative. Those who do not have it catch it from those who have it. True love is unconquerable and irresistible, and it goes on gathering power and spreading itself until eventually it transforms everyone whom it touches. What do you think's going on this planet? That's what's going on. That's why people are starting to see demons when they never saw them before. The veils are collapsing on this planet. Why? Because love is flooding this planet, this solar system, this quadrant of the galaxy. And when love touches, and I'm not, I think people get it confused. We're not talking about the small love, which is the romantic love. We're talking about a love much, much, much higher than that. The fact of the matter is, as you go out on the astral plane, which you will, you'll see more and more and more. The final thing you see in the world of form, before you go into the formless and into total unity, you see the world of yin and yang. And the world of yin and yang is another astral plane. It's one of the highest planes in the world of form, but it's still duality. It is still polarization. There is God, there is man. There is good, there is evil. Yes and no. Pleasure and pain. Loss and gain. The world most everybody is living in, most of the time. The only way out of that is to take the poles of every set of opposites and see the way in which they are one. And if you can get into that place where you see the interrelatedness of everything, and you see the oneness in it all, then no longer are you attached to your polarized position. We're all one. Now, through our minds and our egos, we look at things, oh, no. That's the opposite of what I am. And the whole thing about generation gaps is a hype. Generation gaps is a hype. It's a social structure. The spirit is the spirit, period. When you can center and see your whole life as a story in which chapters are unfolding, then the moment-to-moment ego involvement, am I getting enough at this moment? Ceases to be a dominant theme. And you start to live in the Tao, or the way. Jesus said, I am the way. It's the same way. The way is the way, is the way. That's all of us. The way is the harmony of this universe. When one comes into the Spirit, when one sees how it is, one understands that behind all the individual differences, man, woman, big, little, old, young, good, bad, every label you can think of becomes background instead of figure. And what stands out is, here we are, here and now. That's all there is. That's all there ever was, ever will be, beyond and forever. And if it isn't beautiful, there's nothing, so you say. Well, I can't have it beautiful now, but later, when we get the food home, it will be beautiful. Later never exists. What happened to life insurance, to tenure, to planning, saving, responsibilities? Nothing happened to any of it. Surfing. Either you do it like there's a big weight on you, or you do it as part of the dance. When you understand the thought is the thought of the thoughtless, your singing and dancing is no other than the voice of the Dharma. Singing and dancing and insurance and savings accounts, jobs and responsibility. This is a dance of life. Do you do it from or do you do it from ah? Do you surf through it all? Or do you carry it around like a load? If only you could throw it off. If only I didn't have these kids around my neck. You can't get away for the day because it's in your head that you're trying to get away from. And it is too simple as that. Change your head. You want to change your environment, change your head. It's all the ecstatic moment. If you know how to dig it, if not, it's a travesty. That's all. It's how we look at it. It's how we see it. It's how we perceive it. Desire. We all have desire, right? All of us, we all have desire. Desire is a trap. Desirelessness is moksha, which means liberation. Desire is the creator. Desire is the destroyer. Desire is the universe. And that applies to the physical plane, the astral plane, and the causal plane. It's like heaven, hell, demons. Now, a lot of people on this planet don't believe that there are demons. They think that's a bunch of nuts and hooey. The demons on 43rd Street, as well as the demons on the astral plane, are all the creations of desire. All the manifestations of the Divine Mother are creations of desire. That's why Naga, the naked aesthetic, worked on getting Ramakrishna to go beyond his love for Kali. Give up even the desire to be experiencing the bliss of being at all, of being with the Divine Mother. See, it goes way beyond where we have been at for so long. Then you start realizing don't get hung up on all these different desire trips. Just go beyond it all. There's 4 noble truths in some perspective. Very straightforward, very simple. First one concerns the fact that life always has in it the element of unfulfillment. Okay? Or some people would call it suffering. Birth, old age, sickness, not getting what you want, getting what you don't want, even getting what you want in this physical world is going to be suffering because you're going to lose it. It's always in time. Anything that is in time is going to pass away. Lay not up your treasures where moth and rust doth corrupt. That's the trap of time. As long as you want anything in time, it's going to pass because time passes. Now, the second noble truth is the cause of suffering. The cause of suffering is desire or craving. When you don't try to hold, you don't suffer over the losses. If you don't, you don't. Worship life. Fear death. But if you try to hold on to life, it's very sad. You can honor life, but if you try to hold on to life, it's just very sad. Did you ever see a really beautiful woman, like a top model, who is just getting to that point where her looks are changing into what could be an internal beauty? If she hadn't been so busy with her external beauty, she is caught in the beauty of time, which withers. How poignant. Yet, well, we've all touched people. If you attach yourself, if you crave temporal things, beauty, possessions, achievement, anything, we've touched people who were so beautiful as beings that we never notice whether they are physically beautiful. It's like an eternal beauty lives within them. Have you ever experienced that? Somebody looks at you so seductively. An ice cream cone goes by. Will it ever be the big ice cream cone in the sky? Will it ever be an eternal ice cream cone? Or is it always going to melt? You got to keep eating it. Yet it melts and melts. That's its problem. You got to keep eating it because it will melt. And then it's gone. And you know that taste in your mouth when you finish and you want a glass of water, right? Then you have a glass of water. There's that bloaty feeling. Then you're ready for the next one to get rid of that one. Let's take a walk. And you take a walk. It's cold out. Let's have some hot chocolate. Yeah, let's have some. And on and on and on. It's called life. You see, the opposite of craving is saying, baby, this is the way it is. Yeah, okay, here and now. This is it. I accept the here and now fully. as it is, right at this moment. Lame, halt, blind, dying. We're all dying. These bodies are. At this moment, our bodies is before. If you've taken seeing it, do this, it's happening. It's all a downhill trip all the way. Disintegrating. The very eyes. What a funny place to get attached. To something that's got a goal like that Buddha says, the cause of suffering is attachment or desire. They all say the same thing. Give up attachment. Give up desire. You end the births. You end the deaths. You end the suffering. You end the whole thing that keeps you stuck. If I'm not attached to this particular time-space locus, I can free my awareness from my body and I can become one with it all. I can merge with the Divine Mother. This journey we're on is going to take us to places that none of us, no matter how many lifetimes we've had, have gone before. Get your life straight. Do your work. Do everything you've got to do. Watch your speech, watch your thought, watch your calmness, get your calm center going. Live your life in such a way as to get yourself straight, to get free of attachment that just keeps sucking you in all the time. Get free of desire. Get free of desire. It's a little like a roller coaster. This is just the way it works. You've really been working on yourself, and you're very pure, and something very high happens to you. You feel liberated, and then your ego walks around and pats you on the shoulder. Pretty good. Look how holy you're becoming. You fall again. That's one of the traps. In fact, the higher you get, the harder you will fall each time. It's those fiercer lions guarding the inner gates. All this when you are yourself from desire. Stuff happens, extricating this web of which is your cognitive framework. The universe, same thing. Extrication doesn't happen. Internal struggle. This is called tapasya. Threatening by fire. The man gives way to all his desires or panders to them. There will be no inner struggle in him. No friction, no fire. But if for the sake of attaining a definite aim, he struggles with the desires that hinder him, he will then create a fire which will gradually transform his inner world into a single whole. So in the quiet time of this meditation, go deep within, as we say, relax into the body, be in a comfortable, still as a statue position. Focus on the breath rising and falling. And then go deeper within. And how do you know you're getting close to the God you are? You'll start feeling this bliss bubbling up for no reason. Center of your chest. It will be absolutely phenomenal. That will tell you that you're getting closer and closer to the God that you are. I'll join you in the meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. This moment is the only thing that is real. Everything happening between your ears is a grand illusion created by your mind. This moment contains the only true existence. It is the only place you can find the divine. The past and future are amazing, yet are delusions that take you away from the divine and are not actually real. They are continuously being fabricated and replicated by your mind. For 10 times randomly today, stop the mind by surrendering to the present moment. This is the only way you're going to stop the mind. An amazing spiritual experience will begin to unfold within you. The longer you can remain completely present to the now, do not take my word for it. Check it out for yourself and see for yourself. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night, the following morning. We'll return here tonight at around, give or take, 9 p.m. Eastern to continue our Time for Change call. And Thursday, April 18, 2024, around 3:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our Global Guided Meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's happening within or outside of you.